Life was sweet. Luck was on my side. But then it ran out.
As you took someone from me, so I take someone from you.
Brother, Jimmy!
You will be cast out, unable to set foot on land for more than one cycle.
I had to run.
Find Sinbad.
Find him.
Hide.
I see blood on your soul.
Fight. Lead. My name is Sinbad, and this is my adventure.
We're adding new titles every day to our awesome collection of blockbuster movies, from Hollywood to Nollywood. Download the app and subscribe. This isn't just a streaming channel. This is a bold new world of entertainment. Arise Play. Beyond streaming.
A very warm welcome to this week, 60 minutes of analytical review of the big stories, topical issues, and all the controversies around the world. I'm Somna Sambo. And in the headlines, Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom apologizes over Fulani president comment, says he was misunderstood. Well, in the spirit of fair hearing, we will be providing a right of reply to him. And also, Atiku says PDP's feud with G5 governors is set to end soon after former military head of state Ibrahim Babangida's intervention. Stay with us. Welcome to the show. Now, in what seems like a sudden turn of events, Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom has apologized over his inflammatory comments against the Fulani ethnic group, with specific focus on the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, where he said that he would not support another Fulani president. Now, Ortom, while responding to questions from journalists in Bauchi, retracted his statement, which is currently generating different reactions. He says he was misunderstood over his comments. Now, Governor Ortom has come under intense criticism for politicizing the farmer-herder clashes in Benue State and is using it allegedly to boost his senatorial ambition based on what the opposition is saying. Now, just last week here, we had his former aide on student affairs, Angu Ongu. But in a right of replies, Arise News will be giving room to the Benue Youth Forum to reply on the same issues. Well, joining us right now in the studio is Terence Kwanam, who is the president of the Benue Youth Forum, to respond to the issues raised on this program last week by Angu Ongu, who is a former special assistant to Governor Samuel Ortom on student affairs and coordinator of Atiku's support organization in the north central of the country. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so just last week we had a former special assistant to Atiku Abubakar speaking on several issues. Samuel Ortom speaking on several issues that have to do with why Governor Samuel Ortom doesn't seem to want to, give room for reconciliation. But during the week, suddenly Governor Samuel Ortom, while trying to speak on the feud between himself and the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, said he was misunderstood on his comments that he would not vote for another Fulani presidential candidate again. And so in all of that, you would have heard all that happened last week. What do you make, first of all, of Governor Samuel Ortom's apology to the Fulani people, saying that, look, he didn't really mean it against the Fulani ethnic stock, but he was directing those comments at Atiku Abubakar?
First, on the issue of apology, that was courageous enough of Governor Ortom to be able to own up to his words, that he has apologized over the comment, in spite of the provocation that has been on in Benue State for so many years in his course of ruling Benue as governor. And so we commend him for that. And we have already seen several groups that have come up to commend him for being that courageous to be able to stand up and apologize. And we urge other political leaders also who have made such comments that are already boiling crisis within the country to be able to come out and apologize, and also have the courage to be able to explain the context of the statements they have made. Are
you referring to Atiku Abubakar and his comments made in Kaduna during that political forum?
Not just in Kaduna, also when people were killed in Beji, in Ukum local government, where even 2 police people were involved. Atiku Abubakar is privileged to be the holder of the Zegemolov Thief. Zegemolov Thief has also been occupied by a former Fulani person before him, Alhaji Aliu Mohammed, the former SGF to this country. And he did so well in that position as Zegemole. We are aware that since he took over the title before his demise, every child he has had, he has named after the thief people. And he was always in loco, even when communal clashes were held. And so it became so strange to the thief people in Benue State when the current occupant of the position seems not to be the shade under which the thief people can be able to seek refuge. Because there is no farmer-herder crisis in Benue State. That is the narrative that we want. People are killed in their sleep. Children, women, and the aged. And now for somebody who is seeking to unify this country and lead this country, coming us to tell us that the killings that took place in our place was sustained farmer-herder crisis was strange to us. And he went further to say that those crises are happening because we are refusing to accept the people killing us to live amongst us.
Well, just to quote Atiku very correctly, he has said that, look, it's a farmer-herder clash, but Governor Samuel Ortom is ethnicizing the issue by specifically continuously saying that it's Fulani, that there is no and generalizing it. He is a Fulani person, and he has never asked anyone to go and commit such crimes.
There is no farmer-herder crisis in Benue. People are killed in the dead of their sleep. And these killings have been taken responsibility by the Miati Ala Kauta Hore. Not once, not twice, not thrice. These killings have been taken responsibility by MAGBAN, Miati Cattle Breeders Association,
which is predominantly Fulani.
These killings have been taking responsibility of FUNAM, Fulani Nationalistic Movement. So these are killings that people have taken responsibility. These are killings that, because we know the people killing us, There are even cases in court with them over the massacres that are taking place in Benue. Now, when people are sleeping in their homes and you come to kill them, and somebody said it's a farmer herder class, where are the farmers? Where are the herdsmen? Most of these communities have been overridden by these terrorists.
So what exactly is at the heart of this clash between the Fulanis and, of course, the Tiv people? If indeed that's the context you're providing this discussion, what exactly are the Fulanis looking for, and what is it that's preventing the Tiv people from living peacefully with them?
There is no context for the Tiv people to live in peace with the Fulani people because they are not communal. The nearest village of the Fulani to Benue is 700 kilometers. That is one. And they claim that the Miati Alakauta Hori stated that they are killing our people, that the ancestral homes that we presently occupy belongs to them, that our Benue was conquered by the Fulani people and they are coming back to take their rightful place. Magban came out to say that they are not going to allow peace in Benue because of the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law. The Funam came out and said they are coming to take over the land that belongs to them. So they have provided reasons why they are killing us. They say the valley we occupy belongs to them and they are coming to take over. And we have looked within our history that we are never a conquered people. Nobody has ever conquered us. So it is strange for somebody to sit 700 kilometers away from Benue and begin to claim that the land we occupy belongs to them. So they have given their reasons. We have told them that they have never conquered us. We have told Magban that if you want to come and raid cattle in Benue, you're welcome, but you must follow the law.
Yeah, but the thinking within these people also is that Governor Ortom has politicized the issue instead of addressing the issue as a leader. And that's at the heart of what Atiku Abubakar was also saying, that as a leader, when such issues happen, you're supposed to provide solutions, not to make inflammatory comments. Isn't it so much inflammatory to the extent that Governor Ortom even used this comment against the president of the country because he's from the Fulani ethnic stock, President Muhammadu Buhari?
Ortom made that statement, but let me make a clarification. The issue is not politicized. The issue is not inflammatory. What Governor Ortom has done is to insist that the law must be followed. That is just what he has done. Now, the comments Atiku went to Kaduna to make against Ortom and the condolence message he sent to him, remember that Buhari, that has been at loggerheads with Ortom, came openly in his condolence message to tell Governor Ortom that human life is sacrosanct. And so for these killings, I am putting aside my political differences with Governor Ortom and condole him over these killings and giving him my full support as president to investigate and get to the root of this crisis. Then your own presidential aspirant, somebody who is canvassing to lead this country, coming to rather instigate the crisis further by claiming that it's a farmer herder crisis. There is no farmer herder crisis in Benue, and you cannot force the people of Benue to live with the people killing them. That was where we had issues with him. And more so, this is somebody that has the privilege of occupying one of the biggest chieftaincy titles in Benue.
Yeah, and this is somebody. What exactly does it mean? Actually,
that is the big shade of the Tiv people. It means that we're supposed to take refuge under that shade when we're in trouble. But now that shade we're supposed to take refuge is rather tattered and is rather turning back to fight us.
Well, Ortom has apologized to Atiku.
Ortom apologized.
Do you think
he
that...
He didn't apologize to Atiku. Ortom apologized to the comment that he will not support a Fulani candidate.
So his apology is to the ethnic, Fulani ethnic group.
Yes, he didn't apologize.
Not to Atiku.
No, he didn't apologize to Atiku.
Oh, okay, shouldn't he apologize to Atiku so that they have an understanding and also maybe seek an apology from Atiku so that, you know, this issue will be balanced?
He has already seeking an apology to Atiku. From what he has said, Atiku has apologized to him privately, but the statement in Kaduna was in public space, so he expected him to be courageous enough like him to go into public space and apologize to him so that Nigerians will know that he has retracted the statement. And then the issue of Ortom and Atiku are different from the issue of Fulani. Maybe the provocation pushed him to that level, but he has apologized. But the issue is this. We know that Fulani terrorists are attacking us. We are not the people that have profiled Fulani as terrorists. The Global Terrorism Index have rated the Fulani terrorists as the fourth most dangerous terrorist group in the world. We didn't bring that up. This is a global organization. Now we know they are attacking us. We are aware. And the president of late has also come out to address this and admit it that yes, there are Fulani people that have come from Mauritania, from Central African Republic, from Chad, Niger, that are attacking his people. Now we know that we have also lived with Fulani people peacefully. Now it is for the Fulani people that have been living with us peacefully to separate themselves from these people so that collectively we know we have a common enemy.
And Governor Ortom tried to do that through the livestock guard, trying to say, look, he's putting in place a law that will help to reduce this issue. You have said it's not a farmer-header clashes, but that law, the livestock guard, was put in place to actually prevent farmer-header clashes. And so in this instance, how can the law be better applied in a non-political way to resolve this issue?
There is no law that will be applied in a political way.
That's what Mieti Allah and others are saying, that the law was targeted at them.
They have not even come to be able to rear the heads of cattle, that they have not been able to do so. They have never come at all. And as I speak with you, the people coming to attack us don't come with heads of cattle. They come with guns on bikes and sometimes even explosive devices to come and attack our people. So they don't come with heads of cattle. So where are the herders?
Okay, now let's also talk about the statement made by some politicians in Benue and of course across the nation that Governor Ortom is politicizing these issues between him and Atiku Abubakar and the farmer-header clashes and using it to drive his senatorial ambition for the Benue Northwest Senatorial District. What do you make of that? Including, we had his former aide here on student affairs who was here and saying that, look, Ortom needs to stop politicizing the issues that we have on ground.
It's quite unfortunate that somebody who has worked closely and to a large extent at a point took part in this struggle will come on national TV because of some certain interests to say we are politicizing the crisis. How will you politicize a crisis that they are killings? They killed people. After the Beji killings where 2 police people were killed, as we speak with you, last week there was a killing. The people that survived, if we go to the teaching hospital, somebody's 2 eyes has been chopped off. Some people's hands have been cut. How is that politicizing killings? Killings are happening in Benue. As we speak today, the Lafia-Makurdi highway is not safe. You need to be very careful at the hours you are going to ply that road because these people will come out and attack you. And this situation has already overwhelmed the security forces because as we speak, there are some ancestral homes that people have never been there for 3 years.
Is it a matter of the security forces being overwhelmed, or they've done their best to be able to
if they have not been
overwhelmed,
overwhelmed,
the issues?
How will you come to resolve a crisis? And people have been in IDP camps for over 3 years. Some people, if they even go back to those ancestral homes, they might not be able to recognize where they come from. How is that? Who will want to leave the convenience of his home, his farmland, which is his means of livelihood, to go and stay in an IDP camp because of politicizing a crisis for 3 years? It's not possible. These people have occupied our ancestral homes. They have been there for 3 years, and nobody has come to the aid of Benue people to be able to push them away for our people to go back to their ancestral homes, and you call that politics. It's quite unfortunate that the devastating situation we found ourselves in as a people, when politics has come, instead of providing solutions for us to be able to see that hope is coming on the way for the people of Benue, they are rather politicizing it to take advantage of it. It's quite an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, and the major accusation is against Ortom himself.
No,
That the PDP is losing ground. The PDP is losing ground in Benue due to alleged misgovernance by Ortom, and as a result of that, he's latching up on this and not paying salaries and other things, but just focusing on this to use it to drive a narrative and to drive fear among people so as to return the PDP back to power in Benue.
You cannot accuse Ortom of misgovernance in Benue.
That's the allegation by the opposition in Benue State.
I'm telling you on ground, and I'm not a politician, you cannot accuse Ortom of misgovernance. The infrastructure that Ortom has provided in Benue has never been provided in Benue since Apereko. As we speak, the salary arrears that Ortom has inherited in Benue, as we speak, he's on the way clearing them out. So you cannot come and accuse Ortom of misgovernance. And nobody has come into that seat to face the kind of challenges that he's facing. Rather, the Benue people are sympathizing with Ortom because he has sacrificed the comfort of his office and his life to be able to protect the people of Benue. Ortom does not need to politicize any crisis for him to win an election. He was on top of this issue in 2019. We massively voted for him against even the federal forces that wanted to stop him.
What do you make of the APC and its Reverend Father candidate that's making waves everywhere? And of course, especially in the Tivland, a lot of people are beginning to receive him with open arms. And of course, the Labour Party is also making an incursion. Isn't all of this an indictment of Governor Ortom's style of governance?
This is not the first time APC are coming aboard with all the federal might, but we, the people of Benue, we know what we want.
Coincidentally, Ortom himself came through APC in 2015.
We, the people of Benue, we know what we want. And on February 23rd, we're going to make our choice. Nobody is going to force us. We know that we need to protect our ancestral homes. We don't know why where we are living has become an issue to some certain climes in this country. And we know that our forefathers protected that place for us to come and inherit it. And we're not ready to give it out to anybody.
Now, let's talk about the place of the federal government in all of this, because Atiku Abubakar is now in government. Let's leave aside this fight with Ortom and face the issues. What do you think are the ways that the government from the federal level can help Benue to resolve this crisis? Because Ortom is going, and the new governor will be elected next year. How do we prevent the new government from inheriting these problems?
We had a crisis in Benue where our communities were invaded and people were killed. And people came out to take responsibility of those killings. None of them were arrested. Even when videos were provided as evidence, even when national dailies took the press releases that were captured, in broad daylight they sat on press conferences and took responsibilities of those killings. And nobody came out to arrest them. Now, that is where we had issues with the federal government, that the sanctity of life must be sacrosanct.
Yeah, and how do we go
and then someone says that I
from there?
73 Nigerians because they rustle my cows. And we begin to ask, if you don't know, if you are not trained in the art of herding, how will you be able to rustle a cow and then you are talking of thousands of cows? We are not trained in the art, we are farmers, and we don't know how to herd cattle. And so we expected the federal government to have been on top of the situation, making some arrests to even give our people hope. Now we had people in IDP camps, and what is the situation that the federal government has provided? Nothing. For 3 years.
Not even by the National Emergency Management Agency.
National, we even,
at the point
we need to raise alarms that the National Emergency Management Agency was not giving attention to our IDP camps.
Not giving much attention, or
no, they were not giving at the point until
because
we raised alarm.
What they said is that they were providing some relief materials
here
and there.
No, let me tell you, between 2008 to 2020, there was no truck that came from NEMA until we started raising alarms and threatening them that we'll take them to court, because we know that NEMA is an institution of the federation and not of the federal government. And so we as Benue people, we have contributions for NEMA to survive. Then now started the first set of rice they even brought was an expired rice that was destroyed before the public space. And now, yes, there is an improvement. And even from the federal government, as we speak, the federal government, Buhari, has given some certain directives that there's a little cushion. In the last 3 to 4 days, there have been 1 or 2 operations that have calmed down nerves within the areas that people were attacked daily. So that we need to commend.
That's some good news. So
yes,
how do we ensure that Buhari leaves a lasting legacy so that we don't have
that is our prayer, and we are ready to give him the full support, give him all the intels he needs, because we know the ancestral home these people are occupying, they are there, and we know. The security forces also know. It's only for the commander-in-chief to be able to give directive that he doesn't want these people there. And the kind of operation that took place in Benue in the last few days, if it is on and on, I think within a very short time, our people will be able to go back. And the governor, I'm aware, is ready to cooperate with the federal government for these people to go back. Because the money that is their government is spending to run the IDP camps is huge. It would have been diverted to development. But now it is being pushed to manage people in IDP camps, yet they are not even comfortable. Because the rains beat them. We are moving to the Harmattan season, they are going to face the hazard.
As we try to round off this conversation very quickly, the Fulani and Tiv used to live peacefully in the past. How do we ensure that there's a harmonious relationship between these two ethnic groups going forward? What exactly can be done by the traditional institutions of these two ethnic groups
The
to resolve this
Fulanis that
issue?
used to stay with us, we still have a harmonious relationship with them. There are so many of them in Ortom's government. We have about 30-something Fulanis in Ortom government. And so we are still living with them. The people we are fighting are the people the president himself said they are Fulanis that are coming from outside. Now it becomes a thing of pain where even people that are highly exposed, that are whole public office, comes to tell us that they are global citizens. And it becomes
especially with that comment by Bala Mohammed, governor of Bauchi State.
Yes, and Nisa Yuguda. They come out to say they are global citizens. So you're a global citizen, somebody should come from anywhere and kill Nigerians, and then you begin to align with them.
So what was the solution?
We are living with Fulanis harmoniously, and the Fulanis that have come from all over to take over our ancestral homes should be resisted. The federal government should be on top of the situation and make sure that the citizens of this country, because this is not affecting only Benue, it's in Plateau, it's in Nasarawa, it's in Southern Kaduna, it's in Zamfara, it's everywhere.
Okay, just before I let you go, are you one of those who are asking that Atiku Abubakar should be stripped of that Zege Mule Utiv chieftaincy title by the Totiv?
The issue of giving and stripping of chieftaincy title lies with the Chief Traditional Council. I have advised the Chief Traditional Council to look at the activities of Atiku Abubakar in recent time regarding the people, the Chief people, and if it is worth stripping of the title, please, they should do so. It is their responsibility, it's not mine. I can only draw their attention to his activities, and I've done that.
Well, he still remains the Zege Mule Utiv for now, and of course,
they should try so that
you are supposed to back somebody like that who is holding that position in the 2023 elections and all of that.
Able to seek refuge. It shouldn't be the shade under which, when we go to seek refuge, the sun and the rains beat us.
Okay, we must thank you so much. Terence Kwanom is the president of the Benue Youth Forum. We must thank you for reacting to these issues. We'll now go on a short break, and when we come back, we will be speaking with the PDP National Publicity Secretary on the ongoing reconciliation efforts between the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, the party, and of course the G5 governors. Stay with us.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment?
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W Initiative of Access Bank. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
The next one could be yours.
music is one of our greatest exports, but our wildlife could be another great industry if we protect it for future generations. Right now, it's threatened by illegal wildlife trade. So please, report wildlife crime and say no to illegal bushmeat. Because poaching steals from us all.
Here's a card when no go give you stress at all. Zero weight and zero Q. First Banky Petra card. Here's a card when no go give you wahala. Zero trouble now for you. First Banky Petra card. Tell off his spoiler. Who won't break them? Where you want to say now only you get them. Nothing if you do one. Sharp, sharp payment. Swipe they go, you know the way. Veteran card with the sweet body. Veteran card with no the shape person. We put you first again. First Banky Veteran card, we put you first again. Generate your virtual card, we put you first again. First Banky Veteran card, we put you first again. Just generate your virtual card, yeah.
Till the world hears your voice, till you take over the world.
Airtel, they'll be giving you a 500,000 naira educational scholarship for Zita.
Wow! Yes! This is amazing.
Airtel wants to rent a provision shop for 1 year. They'll stock it for you.
Hey, God! Hey, who am I to deserve all these things? Who am I?
It's not over, it only just.
So we'll be doing minor refurbishment of the Mojisola Balogun Rehabilitation Center.
Than you've ever been.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I go there by your side.
Welcome back to This Week on Arise News. I'm Somna Sambo. I will now move on to other issues. It's a lot of action within the PDP as the former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party for the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar, has expressed optimism that the crisis plaguing the party will be resolved long before the general election, as the G5 governors are holding talks towards reconciliation with him and, of course, the party. Now, the party met with the presidential candidate met with former head of state Ibrahim Babangida at his Mina mansion on Friday, where they talked about the issues of reconciliation. And of course, the governors are saying that reconciliation remains the best option in the major opposition, saying that the crisis of confidence will eventually go away and pave the way for a much more stronger and united PDP. It was also noted that Atiku's recent visit to Babangida is a sort of morale booster for the party, as the former military head of state is trying his best to ensure that the PDP resolves this crisis before the February election. Well, to discuss this update on Atiku's meeting with former military head of state Ibrahim Babangida over the G5 imbroglio is Honorable Debo Ologunagba, who is the PDP National Publicity Secretary. He's also a former member of the House of Representatives. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I can see you full of smiles here and there. Is this some sign of good news in the main opposition, PDP, after this intervention by an elderly statesman? A lot of people thought that former military head of state Ibrahim Babangida wouldn't have any interest in the things ongoing in the PDP, but with his intervention and with what we have heard that Jonathan is also interested in resolving the issues in your party, is it some sort of good news for your members?
Well, absolutely. Thank you again for having me. I think it's actually a good news for the country. It's actually a good news for the direction that we're taking. And we must commend the effort and the statesmanship of President Ibrahim Babangida. He's been a stabilizing factor for this country. We know his pedigree even into the journey into democracy with the SDP and NRC at that time. And we know that his legacies will continue to be here for a very long time.
Until he had to scuttle that same transition process. We must add that.
Again, that is a human nature, of course. That is part of our history. But I'm sure he recognizes that. And he knows that he has a place in history. And that's why I say the issue is not just about the PDP. It's about our country. It's about what we need to do. And the fact that every man of goodwill in this country, particularly elder statesmen. You just referenced President Jonathan now. These are all products of the PDP, and we must recognize that. General Babangida was at some point, and is still a member of the PDP, even though now he's a higher level of call in terms of statesmanship for the country. President Jonathan is a product of the PDP, and is still a member of the PDP. They recognize their role in history, and they know that this country, the unity of this country is very important. The country that have provided them a platform to be who they are, world citizen. Again, embedded in that is the fact that the PDP, like I always mention, is an organic party that has organs, that have processes, that have procedures, and that allows inbuilt in that mechanism a process of resolving differences. I have told you severally, we don't have crisis, we don't have dispute, we have differences. And this is in tune with human nature. When you have people coming together, particularly in a political setting, there are interests, there are emotions, there are other considerations. But the ability of any party to be able to reconcile these differences is what makes it a party. Because in a country, especially ours, with so many tribes, so many ethnic groups, we must have that capacity to have the balancing. And that's why we provided the nation with a man called Mr. Unifier, Atiku Abubakar.
Abubakar himself. Well, the national chairman of the PDP, Yoche Ayu, is at the heart of this issue, and the calls for him to just resign or be kicked out or whatever. I mean, the G5 governors just want him off that seat. Is Atiku Abubakar finally ready to have a conversation on that issue?
Again, I know that as a father, Atiku Abubakar has only had conversation. We're at Ibadan. During his consultation with the zones, in the Southwest zone, he was at that meeting, and I was there present. And this demand was made publicly. And he said there two things, and he established that. The desire and the request for Senator Ayu, the party's chairman, to resign as a personal decision. But if he's going to go through the other process of removal, there's a process within the constitution of the party, and he's for that. He declared that he can work with anybody in this country. That is to show his credential as a unifier, a man who has his DNA rooted in every part of this country. Atiku Abubakar is a party man, is a constitution man, is a man of process and convention and rules, and is there to abide with that. In all of this, what is important is, which I have emphasized severally, is the fact that this party has capacity embedded using the various organs, from Governors Forum to NWC to NEC to Board of Trustees, and of course, the elder statesmen that are members of this party, or not even members of this party, were willing to open up to have conversation. And I'm happy, and I've said this severally here, that our governors, they are responsible leaders of this party. They've contributed immensely to this party. They are beneficiaries of the platform of this party. And they have come into limelight and to prominence in this world by reason of this party. I know that they will not pull it down. And I want to make a particular...
Is that the reason, sorry to interject, is that the reason why Bala Mohammed had to write an official letter to the PDP national chairman to lay his complaints against Atiku Abubakar rather than, maybe take the same route like the G5 governors who didn't write their own, but they've been saying it openly?
Yeah, communication can come in different forms. Conversation can come in different forms. It can be by writing, it can be by just speaking. But what is underscoring all this is the fact that the PDP is truly a democratic party, where people can express their views, where we have a conversation, unlike the other party, where you have a silence that looks like there's calm, but it's the silence of the graveyard. In our party, we encourage conversation. We want you to have a discussion so that we can now understand ourselves and then be on the same plate and then work together, not just for this party, but for this country, because it is more urgent than ever that we come together to rescue and begin the rebuilding of our nation. That's what everybody is looking for. That's what Nigerians are looking up to. Our message of rescuing and rebuilding has started resonating from the election that we've just done in Osun State, in Plateau State, in Cross River State, and even in Abuja, where the most populous part of this city, including where the seat of government was won.
Now, has Bala Mohammed's concerns been addressed? Because, he wrote that letter with the speaker, deputy governor, everybody in the state signing it and said, look, Atiku Abubakar is fighting against my re-election. And a lot of people were startled because just when Wike, Governor Nyesom Wike had made that statement that the G5 is open for reconciliation, only for us to, hear him coming with such a letter. And it looked like another war front had been opened. Have those issues been addressed?
I think you need to look at the trajectory. I think we don't put one before the other. Number one, there was a letter. When that letter happened, because again, like I said to you, several of the attractions and activity of the PDP in the area of reconciliation is not something I come in before the clerk and speak about. There are beneath this, the surface movement. Even the meeting with President Babangida, of course we didn't announce it in advance that we're going there. You can only have that information about breaking news. That is the essence of reconciliation and discussion. If the particular reference that you made, there was a letter, immediately, the Director General of the party, the former governor of Jigawa State, Lamido, and the party chairman went on a visit to Governor Bala. You probably don't have that information. And in the process of that...
we reported that.
Yes, okay, fine.
We did.
Now, when you did that, beyond that, there was another meeting in Abuja with the president candidate immediately came back from the United States. Probably you don't get to hear that. What I can tell you today, what you heard yesterday, of course, if you ask now, it will be different because this is an ongoing process. Reconciliation is not a 100-meter dash. It is a marathon.
Isn't it because maybe it's beginning to dawn on the PDP that you could lose this election if you don't reconcile? The governors are not calling for reconciliation because they really want it, or the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar calling for reconciliation because he really wants it, but because they know that if they don't unite, PDP is on its way of losing. Is on its way to losing this 2023 presidential election.
You are micro considering this. This is beyond the PDP. It's for the country, and I think that should be the underlying.
How do you mean for the country? Can't Nigeria exist without the PDP coming back to power?
No, but the point is this. We are an organized society, we are a democracy, and we expect to have choices. Nigerians have been able to determine now that in 16 years of the PDP, we know what it was in terms of life expectancy, in terms of the economy, in terms of security, in terms of sense of belonging in this country. And we all know in the last 7.5 years, we know what it is. Even as little as the price of rice, today is about 52,000. It was $7,500. The dollar rate then was 160 to $1. Today is 900 plus X, where X can be anything tomorrow. Again, the stability, everybody look forward to a better tomorrow. And in the interest of the Nigerian people, having regards to the fact that our messaging is resonating to rescue, because we know that we're in trouble. I recall that Governor Ortom said, and I'm quoting him, he said, this country is sick. How are we sick? Because the economy is in shambles. The disunity is completely out of tune. The inflation we can't control. The concern of insecurity I just came back from Benue State, and we went with how many policemen? We can't even stop on the road, the joy and the fun of traveling by road. That shouldn't be. And we can't have a government superintendent over that kind of crisis, and then Nigerians will not be involved. So it's not about party beyond us.
Yes, I mean, you've raised something very important there. The issue of Atiku Abubakar and Governor Samuel Ortom is also another war front that was opened during the week. But Ortom had to apologize to the Fulani ethnic group, saying that, look, he didn't really mean that another Fulani cannot be president and all of that. Why does it look like PDP is in a civil war? I mean, causing problems here and there, all within itself, instead of addressing the issues of what it hopes to do if it comes back to power.
Again, I must take you back to the basics. The grace, which is embedded in the PDP, is the ability to say, I'm sorry. That is the character of our party. That is what you saw Governor Tom showed by the apology. In this party, I have been here on this platform to say that as a party, we recognize that certain things could have been done differently when we were in power. And we have recognized that. That is the grace of a party. That is the character of men in the party. Unlike the APC that has never been wrong on anything. Or they never agree of anything. When people were killed in Benue State, the president said, oh, I didn't know that the IG didn't come here. When people were killed at the toll gate, the Minister of Information came on air to say nobody died. Denial. We don't deny. It is the ability of a party to recognize that, yes, they are not infallible, but that they are able to make amendments and improve because government exists for the welfare and security of the people. So the moment any government begins to deny the real thing, then of course it is time to go. And then I know that Nigerian people don't like the APC anymore because it has failed woefully.
Well, and that's by your own calculation.
Absolutely.
not calculation of Nigerians, because I was left for voters to decide.
Because we're all here. Some, my brother, you feel it. You probably won't admit it on air, which is okay. But you know that you go to the same market like every other one of us go to. Except you don't go to market anymore because your wife goes there. I know you, at some point you might need to buy stuff that are imported in dollars. And you go to the market today, tomorrow you can plan. What does that do to the economy? It means small scale or even big companies cannot plan. The budgeting is always cascading. And it becomes a dynamic and riotous setting. So we don't want that. But coming back to the issue that the PDP you made reference, we have always been on point. We have always been on the issue of conversing with Nigerian people. And that's why Atiku Abubakar came out with his covenant with Nigerians.
For lack of time, I just have to ask you this question just before we go very quickly in less than 60 seconds. Is Atiku Abubakar afraid of presidential town hall meetings like that conducted by Rise or debate? Why did Atiku send Okowa? Because the Labour Party was hitting hard on your presidential candidate.
See, again, this is Atiku that has met your team, even when it was not fashionable, when you didn't agree for that. He called you on an exclusive interview, so he cannot be shy of that. Atiku Abubakar was on his way from the United States. At the time, he was flying in from Morocco into Nigeria. And he said, well, if I get him before that time, I'll be present. Atiku Abubakar is available anytime, anywhere to debate. But
so,
again,
we hope to see him in other presidential town hall meetings and debates.
The APC president candidate has publicly said that he will not be appearing. Nigeria has the right to know. He must appear. He must speak to us to all the questions, including those cases, including the name, including the age, and everything that is relevant in this election.
And of course, is the National Publicity Secretary of the major opposition People's Democratic Party, and of course, is a former member of the House of Representatives. Just like you have thrown a challenge to the APC, we hope to see Atiku someday in town hall meetings and debates, and it has to be very quick.
We are very soon.
That. But all right.
But with the condition that you will bring the APC candidate because he can't run away from the people, he must speak to them. That's why.
Well, that's what the Labour Party is also saying, that if the Tinubu and Atiku are not coming, then it will also come. Well, we must thank you for...
Atiku is always available. Nigerians they know him, so he's not running from anybody.
All right, Debo Olonwuagba, we must thank you so much for being on the show. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of This Week. Remember, your voter's card is your power. Go get it, and of course, be prepared to exercise your voting franchise in February. Stay with us. I'm Somna Sambo. See you next week.
Welcome to the Glow Festival of Joy. It's a celebration like no other, with prizes like no other. 20 new houses to be won, 24 brand new cars, 200 sewing machines, 100 generators, 1,000 rechargeable fans. It's raining Gidigba prizes this season in the Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial *611# to enter and grab your share of prizes in this celebration of a lifetime. It can only be Glow. Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial *611# now.